This is the correct order of makeup and it's beginner friendly. Now I'm really just going to focus on the order of makeup. So when it comes to all the products that I'm going to be using for this look, you can find them in my description below, along with all of the links and any special discount codes that you might want to use. So let's get started. I have already done my skincare. The first step now of creating a makeup look is the primer. So this is the first thing that goes on. So I'm going to get my primer and I'm just going to smooth this over. This is the Benefit Porefessional matte primer. This is basically going to help your makeup to last all day, and it's also going to help to just smooth out your pores and just kind of fine lines. It all does depend on the type of primer that you use as well, so you want to make sure you use the primer that is suited to your skin type. Step 2 is brow wax. Now the reason I'm doing this now is because it needs generally a bit of time to kind of dry. Also, when you do this before you put any concealer or foundation on, what it means is that you're literally just coating your brows without getting any concealer foundation on them. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but when you do this step after applying concealer or foundation, you end up getting like really kind of, well, just dirty brows because it's got like concealer and foundation or powder mixed in. At least this way, everything's set in the right way and you can just finish off the brows later. Step 3 is prepping your lids. Now, a lot of people think that prepping your lids is basically using eye primer. My version of prepping your lids, and honestly it's going to be a game changer for you, is applying your concealer and then your powder, just setting the lids and getting them out of the way. That is prepping your lids. So I'm going to apply my concealer, buff it in with a sponge. And because you've done your brow wax before this, you're much more conscious of getting concealer into your brow area. Whereas if you don't do the brow wax, you'll notice that you end up just going everywhere. So this way is honestly gonna really help you. And then you're gonna set this with powder. And then you're just dusting it off. And now your eyelids are primed. Step 4 is undercover glow, and I call this undercover glow because we're applying it underneath any concealer or foundation. So this is my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter Glow. So we're just gonna blend this in. You can apply however much or however little that you want of this. And obviously you don't have to apply as much of a bronze shade that I'm using. Like obviously I want that bronze look, so you can just use a normal, more kind of lighter one if you want. Number 5 is concealer. So we're gonna now apply concealer to all the areas that we wanna conceal. I'm gonna be using concealer to cover up dark circles, also lift certain areas, so partly a little bit of contour. And the reason I'm using my concealer is because it's gonna conceal, but also help to lift those areas. So I'm just gonna apply this along the under eyes and then anywhere else that I wanna lift. Now we're just going to blend this in with our brush. You'll find that the glow that we applied just before this is really going to come through the concealer and the foundation, but also like through the areas that you're not actually applying any concealer. Can you see how that glow is still coming through on certain areas? So it's a really great way of almost kind of contouring with a darker shade, but not, because it's not a concealer, it's not a foundation, it's actually a glow, but it's a little bit darker, so more bronzy. Step 6 is foundation. So now this is where everything is going to come together. So everything that we've applied underneath in the order that we have applied it is going to work perfectly for the foundation to kind of like to come through the foundation as well. And also the foundation now, this step is going to be great to kind of just seal everything in. It's like the first step of sealing everything in, and then when we get to the powder stage, that's where we're really going to just lock it all up. So I've got my foundation, my Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin in 7 Neutral. And we're just gonna get the sponge and apply this all over. You just want to apply a thin layer, so not a whole load. And this foundation in particular works really well with the undercover glow that we've applied. So now we've got a really nice thin layer of foundation, and you can see everything's just coming together now. And this is why applying it in these specific steps for this type of look that I'm doing works so well, because your skin looks so healthy at the end, and you're gonna see exactly what I mean. Step 7 is now where you apply any kind of liquid or cream, blush or bronzer. I'm gonna be using a kind of jelly blush and then using a liquid bronzer. So this is like in one step because it's the same consistency. So this is actually the Viral Milk Makeup Jelly Tint, and I'm just gonna like brush on a little bit. So rather than go on like that, you can actually use a brush and just apply it in this way. So I'm just gonna lightly go over this jelly and then just press on the top of the cheekbones. Now I'm going to use my liquid bronzer, and I'm using the Huda Beauty Blush Filter in Latte, because even though it says blush filter, it's actually like a blonzer. So it has a little bit of kind of blush color in there, but it actually works really well. This shade works really well for my skin tone as a bronzer. So can you see how it's also a bit of colour in there, which could pass, well, it is a blush, but I mean, it really does help to sculpt the face at the same time. So it's a really nice colour. And I'm just gonna put this around other areas that I want it. Number 8 is Set with Powder. And this is gonna lock everything in. All of this beautiful glowy base is going to be matte, but just for a little bit, because you've got to remember that when you set, it takes a good anything up to an hour for it to not be so matte. So if you want it to last all day, you need to set it properly, but you've got to be prepared for the fact that the first hour of application is going to be very matte, but doesn't mean that's what it's going to look like all day. So don't rush to make it look exactly how you want your base to look immediately, and you want that glowy finish, because then it's just going to look probably greasy later. So really let those natural oils come through over time. You've got to let the setting powder do its work. It only needs roughly, like I said, about an hour. If you have very dry skin, it will probably take longer, and you could do with maybe adding a bit more glow to it. But if you have combination skin, then I think you want to just let it run its course. So I'm using my Huda Beauty Easy Bake, and I'm going to set this now, and I apply my powder all over with my powder puff. I'm just getting rid of any creasing. You're just gonna dust all this off. Step 9 is brows. This is where we can finish it off now. So we already set them earlier. It's nice and dry, and I've also made sure that I haven't really got any makeup on them. So now it's where you can shape them. So you can use whatever you want. I'm gonna be using my pen and then my pencil to just shape my brows. So I'm just gonna get my brow pencil. I'm happy with the feather strokes I've created. I'm just gonna shape them and just fill them in a little bit more now, and then we're done with the brows. Step 10 is eye makeup. Now, because I'm doing an eye look where I'm using eye pencils, I don't have to worry about eyeshadow dropping down, which is why this is the correct order of makeup for this type of look. So this is also the correct order of makeup if you're not putting any eye makeup and you're only putting mascara. So the order of makeup can change depending on the type of look you're creating, which is why you may see a few other correct order of makeups that I might do, just because I think it's important to show you guys that there is a correct order for different looks. It doesn't mean there's one correct order of makeup, but for this type of look, this is what works. So I'm using my Lines Liberated waterproof eye pencil in number 3. It's super easy to do this look. So you're just gonna draw a line all the way across your lid. It can honestly be messy because this is a really nice bronze shade, and you're going to lift up at the end, but a really small amount, not a long flick. You're going to use your finger to blend back and forth, just to buff in the harsh line, and then just drag upwards and outwards. Obviously use your smallest finger. Do the same here. You don't need to have a mirror so close up to you, by the way. If you keep the mirror quite far, like the mirror is actually quite far from me, it will actually make it easier. The closer you have the mirror, the more precise you're trying to be, and you really don't have to be so precise with this. You can use the pencil just on this bit here to add a little bit of kind of, it actually opens up the eye because it's a little bit of a metallic shade, so the light reflects off to give that really nice open look. Now we're going to use number 1. You want to have a small dome brush ready for this. Nothing on the brush, so keep it clean. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to make it much thinner and go super close to the lash line. What you really want to focus on is touching the root of the lash. Don't focus on trying to create any specific shape or flick. Just go really, really close to the root of the lash. You can even do little dots if you want, if it makes it easier. Now we're going to get the brush and we're going to just buff into the lash line or side to side, but just not up. And then when you get to the end here, you're going to flick upwards and outwards. I'm going to finish with my Lash Clash. Always make sure that you look down into the mirror. That's the best way to avoid getting mascara on your upper lid. And even if you do, just let it dry and then scrape it off with a spoolie. Next is lips, and this is where you want to apply your lip liner first and then go in with whatever lip color that you want. So I'm going to use my Huda Beauty lip contour in Sandy Beige. I'm going to use the new Huda Beauty Faux Filler in She Flirty. This looks so good. Let's see what this is like because I haven't used this yet. And that is it, guys. It's honestly as easy as that. It's about understanding what order things go in, but why they go in that order. So hopefully this all makes sense to you, because like I mentioned, for different looks, there's going to be a different order of makeup. If I was using powder eyeshadow on my lids, there would be a very different order of makeup, like completely different. If I wanted a different kind of finish to my skin, there would be a different order of makeup. So you really need to figure out like what kind of look do you like. And obviously if you're using different textures of products as well, like if you prefer using powder bronzers, powder blushes, that's going to be a different order of makeup. So you have to understand there's not one correct order of makeup. There are many different ones. So I really do hope you've enjoyed this today. I really wanted to just focus on the order of things so that you understand what order things go in, because you might be okay with the application and like how you apply it, but maybe you just need to understand what order it goes in and why. So if you have any questions, let me know. Don't forget that all the products are listed in my description, so you can head on over there and every single thing I've used is listed there, along with any discount codes that you can use. Don't forget, I do have an online publication called The Beauty Breakfast Club, which is an online magazine basically about beauty, self-culture, health, a bit of everything. Everything's written by me, and every now and again I'm gonna get some guest writers in. So it's really fun over there. We have a great community that we're growing, and there are 2 versions of subscription for that. One is free, which gives you access to most of the site. The other is paid, which is the equivalent of just getting yourself a coffee a month. And it just means that you can help me invest back into my business. And that gives you access to the entire site, along with a chat room where you can ask questions directly to me. You'll be speaking to me. So head on over and show your support there. And I do have a vlog channel, which is podcasts as well as vlogs, and that is something I host with my husband, just about real life, marriage, hot topics, a bit of everything. If you have any questions, let me know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Until the next video, take care, and I'll see you soon.